Welcome to today's episode of Two Pigs in the Pod, a podcast for the people of Glazing by the people of Glazing. I'm George Lewis, editor at the People in Glazing Society, more commonly known as Pigs, and I'm your host. Delighted to welcome onto the show today Forel UK and Ireland CEO Brian McDonald. Welcome to the show, Brian.
Hi, how you doing?
Good, thank you. Really good. So, yeah, thank you for coming on the show. But we'll jump straight into it with the first question, as we always do, is who are you and what do you do within our industry?
Okay, well, I'm the CEO of Forel UK and Ireland, which is a glass machinery company, and we supply machinery to the sealed unit manufacturing side of the business predominantly, but we also manufacture other machines for the parts industry as well.
Okay. And how long have you been in the industry?
Oh, 28 years, a long time now. A
Nice,
long
nice.
time. Yeah.
And more importantly for this podcast, why? How did you get into it in the first place?
Well, like a lot of people in this industry, I landed in it probably more by mistake than actually I meant to get into it. I trained as a mechanical engineer when I left school, did an apprenticeship, and I had a phone call one day from a recruitment company as I was a draftsman asking me if I'd be interested in working for a company called Solar Glass. My
Okay.
first thoughts was I don't want to sell double glazed units or get involved in that because it's glass. But I went along to an interview and it was for their architectural division, which was curtain walling, and I joined as a contracts manager. And from there on, I think I've probably traveled around most sectors of the industry, from there to manufacturing mirrors and processing division, which was also part of it, which was glass processing, through to software, through to running sealed unit line businesses, and aluminium, and then PVC, and then back into machinery again. So yeah, it's been a full
Nice.
circle for me.
Yeah. Yeah. And when you first started, when you first got that role, did you know anything about glazing? Was it just a case of didn't really want to get into it, but I'll give it a go?
No, I mean it was purely the reason I joined it because it was closer to home. I didn't
Yeah.
know anything about it whatsoever, but yeah, I'm glad I did now, obviously, because it's looked after me through
Yeah.
my life now, my career. So yeah, it's a good move in the end.
Yeah. Yeah. And what did you when you first started, first few months in, what was your sort of first impressions of being on the inside?
I didn't understand a word anybody was saying. They kept coming up with, "Have you got this sort of glass?" I don't know.
Yeah,
Ask somebody
maybe.
else. Yeah, yeah. I mean, as I say, I did most of my work in mechanical engineering. It was night and day. The reason they wanted somebody like me in there is because it was all doing calculations for steel work, etc., like that. So, yeah, it was a bit of an awakening, but it's surprising. It does sort of get in there eventually. You do start understanding a lot of terminology. You start to
Yeah.
understand other parts of business, and then you can't escape from it.
Yeah. Yeah. Like they say, once you're in, you can't get out.
You can't. No, no, no.
No.
That's it. Life sentence.
What made you stay? You say you've been in it 20 years. What was the reason? Obviously, it's given you a good career, so that's obviously a bonus to have a good career in it. But what's the reasons that why you thought actually, I'm here for the long term, apart from not being able to get out?
Opportunity, I suppose, because I suppose you look at it. There's so many different aspects of this industry. You can't really just
Yeah,
put it in one little nutshell and say, "Well, I worked in this bit," and things just came along over the years. I started off, as I say, in contracts management, and then I was offered an opportunity to work to go into glass processing, which then got me into
yeah,
sales. When I got into sales, I then moved to another business, and then it went on and on and on. And it's majority of my life has been in sales in the industry and moving from different sectors. And it's only recently, in the last sort of 10, 12 years, I moved into sort of, senior management, being a director,
yeah.
that sort of thing. And it's led me to where I am today now.
Yeah, and do you think that's actually helped for where you are now, being in the senior management role? Like you say, you're the CEO, and we'll move on to what Pharrell do. But that you've
Yeah,
you've been overall parts of the industry. Like you say, you've been in PVC, aluminium. You've done it all really.
it helps. It's not really, you can answer a lot of questions, and a
Yeah,
lot of people do say that when you're talking to, do you know about this? Well, yeah, I worked with the GGF for quite a long time as well, being part of one of their
yeah,
committees, vice chairman of the Systems House Group at one stage. So yeah, it's just a combination of years of knowledge, I suppose, and it's useful. Sometimes it can be a bit of a hindrance as well, but mainly useful.
Yeah. Do you get the pressure now of being at sort of, you started off young in the industry, that you're now one of the people that people have to go to, that are sort of at the start of their careers?
They just look at the colour of my hair, mate. They know I'm older now, and yeah, to get a bit of advice. Yeah, I mean, going back to that though, one of the biggest problems at the moment is a lack of people coming into the industry. There just isn't
Yeah.
the throughput, and we struggle to get ourselves to trying to get apprentices and people at a younger age to come in, but hopefully that will change. We just need to make it more attractive to people to come in.
Do you think that you started, you done an apprenticeship yourself, that can actually help to ideally get people in, that they have that proof? We've said on previous episodes before, that people of this career gives people the opportunity to work their way, like yourself, right to the top of companies, the GGF. Do you think that
Yeah,
you
yeah.
could be a case study for others, really?
You could say that, but when I left school, about 3 years ago, things were a lot different then. The whole emphasis on getting a job was totally different than it is now. There wasn't the
Yeah.
positions that there are now. We seem to be crying out for people. We weren't then. It was difficult enough to get an apprenticeship, and I also don't think that people actually understand all the elements of the glass industry and what it involves and what it can do. I think a lot of people are still, tunnel visioned with it, saying it's the windows that go in a house or the glass that go in the window. They don't really get the full picture. So
Yeah.
exposure is great if we can get the right messages out there. Definitely.
Yeah. And moving on to your current role and current company, can you explain what Forel is, and what part of the industry they work in?
Yeah, sure. Well, Forel is one of the world leaders in sealed unit manufacturing machinery. It is based over in Italy near Venice, which is a real hardship to have to go over to. But there
Yeah,
you
real
go.
difficult.
I know. No, but the company was set up in the UK 2.5 years ago because basically the demand for the machinery in the UK could not be controlled by Italy. It just wasn't, the right people dealing with it in the UK that could constantly look at what
Yeah.
was going on, etc. So we set up for our UK. That was by my colleague Alex, who worked in the UK for a year and a half, and then it got to a stage from there that it was growing, and we needed a UK MD CEO. So they approached me. I was in the aluminium sector at the time, and when I got the phone call, it wasn't a no-brainer, but it was one of those things we think that's what I've done most of my life, and it's
Yeah.
the industry area of the industry I love. So I went along, and we're doing a good job. We're growing steadily. We've got a lot of exposure into the market now. We're selling machines. We've got a lot of stuff going on social media wise, etc., etc. So yeah, it's in its infancy. We're still a startup company in effect, but it's growing
Mm.
well, and we're doing okay.
Nice. And how is that? You said you've been in and around machinery for most of your career, but how has the technology changed over? Obviously, it's a very open question, because the machinery changes between what you're working with. But generally speaking, how has the technology changed loads?
Yeah, when I started, I was selling straight line edges for processing companies, and you could keep one of them going with a rubber band if something went wrong with it. Now it's not like that at all. The whole emphasis on machinery now is about quality, making sure there's as least interference in the process as you can get. So ideally, you're trying to not reduce headcount, but make sure there's not as many people touching glass as there used to be. But
Yeah.
that goes with technology, and everything now that we sell is Industry 4 compliant. So it's half AI generated software as well, and it is totally different. The whole way of selling has changed as well. We used to just go and say, well, that edge is about 10-year-old. Do you want a new one? Yeah, go on then. It's not now. You have to justify everything, totally
Yeah.
justify it. Bring it down
Yeah.
to pound, shilling, and pence, if you want to call it that, and say this is what it's going to cost you. This is your payback, etc., etc. So it's a much bigger deal now. Yeah.
Yeah. And when you mentioned AI there, it's a buzzword that's becoming
Yeah.
bigger by the day in our industry, and in mainstream. Like when you
Mm.
mention that to people, to say there's going to be some AI in your on your shop floor, do people get scared away, or are they more intrigued to see how it can actually
I
help
get
them?
scared, mate. Don't worry. No, it's progress. In the old days, on a sealed unit line, you could put a piece of glass any way you want and fudge it through a machine to get something done. You can't anymore. You've got to make things work to a sequence, to the correct order, etc. And there's a lot of intelligence in the machines that are looking at it all the time. Even down to diagnostics, everything. Now we don't send engineers out all the time. Now we do most of it online. You can fix most
Yeah,
problems doing that, looking on the
amazing. Yeah,
online, and in 20 minutes, the machine's up and running. In the old days, send an engineer out 4 hours to get somewhere, then stand there scratching his head and have a
yeah.
cup of tea and carry on. But not anymore. No.
Yeah, and is that sort of the improvement in technology over the years? You said you're not trying to reduce headcount on shop floors and things like that, but has that made the workers that are using these machines more skilled, and they need more training to actually use them, or is it, or actually the technology's got better, that it's actually making their job just as hard as it was before?
It's difficult, that one, because there is always an element of, the more you put in terms of technology, do you have to bring somebody in that's got a degree in astrophysics to operate it, which you don't.
Yeah,
You're trying to still make it as easy or as usable to anybody who comes in and stands in to do a job. But there's always going to be that person that needs to be there, that's going to be a little bit more savvy with it, shall we say, that's a bit more computer literate. So you start to see the dynamic of a shop floor changing now. There's generally people now that tend to be, as I say, a little bit more computer literate, etc. You still obviously got the manual labour side of things, loading and loading, stacking, etc. But less people doing the operation is definitely the way it's going at the moment.
okay. And you going to talk about a success for Forel, and winning a G award at the back end of last year for the machinery innovation. How
Yeah.
did that feel? To get that success from peers within the industry.
Well, yeah, it felt amazing. To be honest, I was surprised. I'm not just saying that, I was, because we'd only ever entered. This is the first time we've entered anything.
Yeah,
But what we were offering, or what we were talking about, was a giant leap forward for the sealed unit manufacturing.
mm,
And with that, the opportunity to manufacture what we call skinny triples, where we're encapsulating a 1 millimeter piece of glass, and having the technology to do that on a standard double glazed unit line without any major modification. The
yeah,
question has always been, and you've probably seen it, me putting stuff in the press and other people as well. The whole thing about triple glazing was to try and make it usable for the systems houses, for the hardware companies, for the installers, for everybody. And the weight of triples was always an issue. By doing it this
yeah.
way, no difference in weight. So, in essence,
Wow.
we have solved the problem. So, the obviously the judges at the went, yeah, that's a good idea, and we were lucky enough to win the award for it. And that's what we
Yeah.
are pushing now. That's how we are promoting, going to the next thing, which I'm sure you're going to ask me about, Fit Show. We are promoting the same thing there.
Nice. And do you feel that was important after the award win to say, yeah, this is like really to make a show off what you're capable was of as a company at the show?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, people know Forel. There's no doubt about it. We've been there long
Yeah,
enough, but it's never been a standalone UK entity, and it's been represented previously through an agency, which a very good agency, but obviously it was always through an agency. Now we are a standalone UK business, directly in contact and owned by a parent company in Italy, and we have to shout about it, because people sometimes don't realise how big Forel is in Italy,
yeah,
how many machines we manufacture, what the technology is. And our heart and soul is based on promoting that technology and the business, rather than, I worked for an agency before, you tend to be, I'll sell this week, and I'll sell this another week, and I'll sell this another week. This is all focused, which is good for us.
yeah. Nice. And as that G award, like you said, going back to the G award, has that given Pharrell UK and Ireland the taste to enter more awards or trying to pick up more awards?
I can't. Yeah. I mean, obviously, it's great, and it feels great as a business to be recognised, and we will look at other awards, other categories. Maybe for next time. But no, just to say we had the recognition for the work we've done, and what it is brilliant. And if I don't ever win another one again, at least I've got that memory now.
Yeah, nice. And to move on, you was our first star in the sty for 2025. So yeah, congratulations, I
Yeah.
guess, and another very small award, compared to the award. But
Yeah,
yes,
yeah.
and yeah. So talking about pigs, obviously, like people that have seen in the story that you've been to pigs for a while. Is there a pigs memory that stands out from you from the years that you've been going?
Ironically, it was at the Fit Show. I can't remember which one it was though, but there was a conga chain going around for about half an hour. And I'll never
Yeah.
forget it because I was looking and all of a sudden half the team that when I was at Comling at the time were connected going around it as well. So no, it was just a good memory. And it's one of those things it brought up, when they started doing the evening, I think it was the first year they did the evening events on the Wednesday or whatever it was. And it was just the atmosphere it brought. It was great,
Yeah.
different.
Yeah,
No,
and going on to that, do you think that networking events like pigs and like at the Fit Show are important for our industry?
oh yeah. I think it was with the pigs. It's not a false thing. It is genuinely people getting together from
Yeah,
the industry that enjoy having a chat, catching up, asking a few questions, buying a few drinks when the free bar runs out, of course, and just it's a great opportunity. And there's no hidden agenda. I think is what I'm trying to say. You don't feel like you are there
yeah,
and somebody's trying to bring you there for a reason. You are there because you want to be. And a lot of
yeah,
events we have to
exactly.
go to tend to be you feel you've got to go there to be there to be
Yeah,
seen. This isn't that. This is because you want to go there. And the way it's grown, the way that more people are coming into it than new venues. Yeah, it's brilliant. I wish I could get to more of them than I do at the moment, but work is work. I try and get to as many as I can still.
exactly. Yeah, and that's it. We're like going back to we want that atmosphere to always be like that. To be that laid back. Business can be done. Of course, it can be done. We're in we're
Yeah,
in a room with plenty of other people from the sector, but yeah, we always want to try and get that relaxed atmosphere where actually, even if you come out of it with a nice new friend to chat to not at a
yeah,
fit show, say, that's perfect.
yeah. I totally agree. And so that's going back. I mean, I think the first one I went to, I can't even remember how long ago it was, but you always get that feeling that you meet some people there, you see some competitors there. Sometimes it's just a good place to be.
Yeah,
So, yeah.
nice. And if you are the pigs coordinator and you could be in charge to put an event on somewhere, can be in the UK or can be worldwide. I mean, for me, that near Venice for Forel in Italy sounds
It's
perfect.
a good shout, actually. Yeah, good shout. Yeah, it'd be a
Yeah,
bit expensive to get to that one, wouldn't it? Free bar wouldn't
yeah,
be good
true.
either. No, I think in fair, I'd probably say Derbyshire because I live around here, but no, that ain't going to work either.
Yeah,
I'd say Dublin because it is
nice.
another great place. There's a lot of companies in Island Glass companies that could be involved in this. So yeah, Dublin.
Nice. And being if you was to step into my shoes and you'd be the host of Two Pigs in the Pod, you're dragging people onto the show. Who would you like on? It can be maybe you can choose someone from inside the industry that you'd love to chat to. Might be a close friend in the industry, and we can do someone from outside the industry. Like someone from entertainment, sports, wherever it may be.
I think I'd bring Donald Trump in because I couldn't stop
that,
laughing.
that that would be interesting for sure.
He'd obviously criticise the industry totally and tell us we're doing it all wrong, but it'd be a good laugh to listen
Yeah.
to him.
Nice. Okay, thanks, Brian. Yeah, we're going to move on to our quick fire question round.
Oh, God.
As everyone would
Okay.
have heard and seen on previous episodes, we like to throw out a few easy questions, but first thing that comes to your head. So, first say is, what do you prefer, talking over email or by phone?
By phone.
No. What's your favorite TV show or movie?
God. Definitely movie. I don't tend to watch many TV shows anymore. Top Gun Maverick because I just watched it last night. It was really good.
No. Have you got a favorite sport?
Football.
Nice. Who just bought?
Coventry City.
Nice.
That's where I was born.
Nice. Frank Lampard in charge. Doing all right.
Yes. Yeah. Doing all right at the moment. I've got a bloody wood round here.
What was the last thing that you Googled?
How to change the brake shoes on a Land Rover.
sounds similar to not with a Land Rover, but it seems to be with me car problems as well.
Yeah, I'm doing one of an old one at the moment.
Where's your favourite place to visit in the world?
Sorrento, Italy.
Nice. And what would be your go-to meal if you had to choose anything to have? What would it be?
I was going to be really, really fancy and say something Italian or French, but steak and chips.
Nice. Can't beat that.
No.
And lastly, we didn't go over it in the main part of the podcast, but the industry is going through a bit of a tough time. It's been a tough couple of years for a lot of companies. But how do you see the industry in the next year? Do you think it will be in a good place, a better place, or do you think it might be in a worse place? Or what we hoping for the next year?
It's $1 million question. If I had the
Exactly.
one. No, I mean it's been a very difficult year and a half, 2 years. We've had some really good traditional, long-standing businesses go, which has not helped any of us. That has also not helped people's confidence in the market. They've held back on doing what they were planning to do, which affects machinery sales, window sales, whatever you want to call it. And then on top of that, you've got a little bit of a lack of enthusiasm at the moment with the economy generally. So I think I'm hoping we're at the lowest point now. I'm hoping that it will kickstart again soon. The companies that we deal with, they're in there, they're still hanging on. Some of them are doing really well. They're bucking the trend, but it's tough times. And I think anybody that said that everything's brilliant and rosy would be probably a little bit of an exaggeration at the moment. But no, I'm hoping it gets better. And I think with technology and doing everything we're doing to try and make things better, quality-wise, etc., might help the situation a bit as well in terms of manpower and all that sort of stuff. So let's just hope for better this year, 2025, than the last one.
Nice, yeah, nice end on a positive. Yeah, I like to say, I think there is some positives to take. We fully understand. It's been a tough year, couple of years, and potentially could be. But yeah, I think there are some positives to that we, as the people in Glazing Society, that for the people want to promote as much as we can.
Yeah, definitely.
Perfect. Well, thanks, Brian. For our last part of the podcast, we always let our guests give a shout out to anyone they may want to do. It can be friends, family, people in the industry, out of the industry. So, yeah, who's your shout outs for?
I'm going to shout out to all our lovely customers because without them, we wouldn't be anybody, would we? And that's not just in machinery. That's people I've dealt with over the years. They've all been part of, getting me to where I am. And, there are a lot of new class as friends. So I won't name any names specifically, but there's a lot of people out there which, I owe an awful lot.
Nice. Perfect. Well, thanks very much, Brian, for coming on to Two Pigs in a Pod today. Like it was really good to hear about your career in the industry and exciting times ahead for you and for the company.
And for pigs.
And for pigs, hopefully, we're all over that to have another hopefully positive year for us, and look forward to catching up in person soon.
See you in Birmingham.
Yeah, perfect. Well, that's it for today. So I hope you can join us for another episode soon. You can find Brian's episode and all others on our website www.peopleinglazing.co.uk, on our YouTube channel, or wherever you get your podcast from. Thanks again to Brian for joining us, and see you again soon.
Cheers. Take care.